Okay, the March meeting of the Area Planning Commission will come to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ryan Baker,
Present.
Tammy Bolin,
Present.
James Chrisman, John Collette, Jim Crawley, Chuck Ennis, Jeff Ford, Nord Frodeman,
Here.
Don Folk,
Present.
John Hanley,
Here.
Debbie May,
Here.
William Verdine,
Here.
Fred Wilson,
Here. Mike
Mike Morris.
Okay, we do have a quorum. I'd like for everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to recognize a couple of people that are with us tonight. Our County Commissioner, Chris Schweitzer, is here, and the County Council woman, Brenda Wilson, is here also. Welcome, we're glad to have you. Okay, first thing is consideration of the minutes and the status report. Is there any corrections or discussion? Motion to approve. Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Are there any public comments at this time? How about the executive director's report?
Good evening. I want to draw your attention to two handouts you have there in front of you. One of them is an updated agenda. Please use that for the meeting this evening. The second one is a handout regarding Shiva subdivision. I'll get to that when we get there. Also, wanted to give you a heads up. We will have some ordinances coming our way, both impacting the county and the city in the upcoming couple of months. I will try and get as much information as I can out ahead of time to you and to the other parties that may be involved. That way you can have an advanced look at it before it comes before you in the meeting. If once you get those, you have questions, please don't hesitate to call.
Okay, any questions? Planning Commission? Have a motion for approval. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Okay. I'm going to rearrange this. We do have one person on the phone that is representing one of the dockets tonight. So we're going to go to, for the first item is docket number 9, file 422, Shiva. Is everybody clear?
Let me have it for just a second. Okay. So the property is commonly associated with 3070 South US Highway 41. More specifically, it can be assessed by either 2nd Street behind the Bob Evans or behind the famed Room Hotel associated with the common address of 101 Margaret Avenue. 4.24 acres, road access again South 1st Street, South 3rd Street, or an unnamed drive off Highway 41. The surveyor is Mr. McPeak. The request is to subdivide the commercial property, creating one new lot. Health Department is approved, sanitary sewer is available, public water is available. It is not in the flood zone. The lots exceed the minimum lot size requirements. The area is well served with other utilities. Stormwater drainage plan will be required with the major subdivision. The petitioner seeks to subdivide the commercial property for the intended use of hotel. All major infrastructure should be in place. A shared parking agreement or easement from lot 1 to lot 2 may be needed. It was suggested, but the property owner chose not to implement one. There was, last month, this petition was tabled due to a boundary dispute between the Shiva subdivision and an adjoining property owner. The handout you have in front of you is from the adjoining property owner, acknowledging now that everything looks good with the plats. So we do offer a favorable recommendation on the primary and secondary approval with the drainage and erosion control plan approval, as well as it must be recorded within 90 days.
Okay, any questions from the Planning Commission? Okay, is there any comments from the petitioner?
Trent, do you have anything to say?
No, I believe I followed all that, and that all sounds good to me.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Not. Have a motion? Have a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, I'm gonna back up to the assistant director's report because I wanted to get this person off the phone so we didn't lose him.
I don't have too much to add. We have signed the community acknowledgement form for the letter of map amendment that's going through for the Honey Creek Conservancy District. So that is, I believe, on its way to FEMA. And hopefully, in the next 18 to 24 months, we'll have a decision.
Well, that's a long awaited thing.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Need a motion? Motion for approval. Have a second? Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you. Next item is docket number 7, file 3, 2022, Mayor, 2-lot subdivision.
The property has frontage along Keegan Road, commonly associated with 4114 Keegan Road. More specifically, Lot 1 is southwest of the existing home, which will become Lot 2. 3.01 acres, surveyor is Mr. White. The applicant is requesting to subdivide 3.01 acres to separate the existing residential dwelling from the surrounding acreage. A second lot to the southwest will be created for residential use. The property is zoned RS. Health Department is still pending. The property does not have sanitary sewer, so septic system must be utilized. Public water is available. It is not in flood zone. Lot exceeds the minimum lot size requirement. Keegan Road is considered a local level roadway, and the area is well served with other utilities. There is an accessory structure labeled a shed on Lot 1 that is in the rear setbacks. If the shed is a permanent structure, then it will need Board of Zoning Appeals approval to remain. The approval of this plat is, of course, contingent upon it being recorded within 90 days. We do offer favorable with the following conditions: a road cut permit if needed, and BZA approval for the shed if it is a permanent structure and not a temporary structure, as well as Health Department approval.
Okay, is petitioner present? Anything you want to add or any questions? Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Have a motion? Motion for approval. Have a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Next item is docket number 15, Special Ordinance 2, 2022, 2110 Oakland Avenue, Terre Haute, from an M2 to an R1 single-family residential district.
The property owners are Cassidy Kingery, Gerald Kingery, and Amy Kingery. Proposed use is a single-family residence. Proposed zoning is R1 Single-Family Residence District, and current zoning is M2 Heavy Industrial District. It's represented by Mr. Shagley. The property is located on the corner of Oakland Avenue and Sibley Avenue. Common address is 210 Oakland Avenue in Terre Haute. To the north is M2, to the east R1, to the south and west also M2. The petitioner is requesting to rezone the property from M2 Heavy Industrial District to R1 Single Family Residence District. The property was originally zoned M2 due to the proximity of the property to the property owned by Public Service Company of Indiana Incorporated, which is Duke Energy. Several homes surrounding Duke Energy property are zoned M2 despite being single-family homes. The property has only been utilized as a single-family home, and the petitioner is requesting to rezone in order to be able to sell it. Staff offers a favorable recommendation.
Mr. Shagley.
Good evening, Mr. President, fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm Wright, Shagley & Lowry. Tonight, I'm here on behalf of the owners, as Sydney stated, Cassie Kingery and others. It's a little bizarre. I don't know if you've been through, but there's 20 houses that make an L around this property, and they're all zoned M2. Ms. Kingery went to sell her home and discovered that it was M2 and not an R1, and it's been a house. All those have been houses forever. As a result, there was a need to rezone. As a result, I'm here tonight asking to rezone the property at 210 Oakland from M2 to R1. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. As stated, we have a favorable recommendation from the staff. I've not heard anybody, I've not received any contacts of any opposition to this. I'm not sure if anybody's here tonight. We can find out here shortly.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the planning commission, Mr. Shagley? Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this petition? Okay,
Second.
Do I have a second? I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is docket number 19, Special Ordinance 4, 2022, East Margaret Drive. I'm sorry. And 4442 East Margaret Drive, Terre Haute, Indiana, from an O1 to a C3.
There are two properties. The first is owned by Timothy Rockwood and Johnny Holt. The second is owned by Ronald and Sylvia, trustee of the Ray E. Sylvia Family Trust, represented by Mr. Shagley. Proposed use is a casino, hotel, and restaurant. Proposed zoning is C3 Regional Commerce District. Current zoning is O1 Agricultural District. The properties are located approximately 641 feet south of the intersection of South Sycamore Terrace and East Margaret on the north side of East Margaret Drive. It is known as East Margaret Drive. It doesn't have an address yet, and 4442 East Margaret Drive. To the north is R1, to the west is R1, to the south is O1, C2, and C3, and to the east is M1. The petitioner is requesting to rezone to C3 Regional Commerce District for the purpose of a casino, hotel, and restaurants. A casino is not specifically referenced in any of the zoning districts for the city of Terre Haute. However, the uses described in a C3 zoning describe the activities planned for the casino, including but not limited to an event venue, restaurants, bars, offices, storage, and other activities commonly associated with a fully functional casino licensed by the state of Indiana. Marcus Maurer, Assistant City Engineer, has provided a letter stating that the Terre Haute Department of Engineering has reviewed the zoning and offers a positive recommendation. There are residential homes across Margaret Avenue. However, many of the previously residential properties along Margaret have rezoned to commercial, and the Terre Haute Margaret Avenue corridor plan identifies the area directly as an intended industrial/commercial corridor. The petitioner is requesting a variance from the Terre Haute City Board of Zoning Appeals for a variance from section 10-138A to allow for construction of a 150-foot tall casino and hotel. This would be 25 feet more than what is permitted under 10-138A. This property is located in the departure area for the airport. Actually, they determined it wasn't. Kara McIntosh, Director of Operations for the regional airport, has reviewed the site plan and stated that the structure does not fall within the height restrictions for the airport, but Form 7460-1 will need to be submitted for airspace evaluation from the FAA for a final determination. We didn't hear it today for the PZA because I didn't have quorum, but we're doing a special session on the 17th at 9 a.m. Staff would offer a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: approval of Form 7461, approval of the subdivision, and approval of the variances from the city BZA.
Mr. Shagley.
Mr. President, fellow members of the commission, my name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm of Wright, Shagley & Lowry, and tonight I have the honor of being here representing the owners of the property described as East Margaret Drive and 442 East Margaret Drive. As stated, those properties are currently zoned O1 agricultural. I'm here tonight asking to be zoned a C3. The ultimate purpose of this is for the casino. As stated, we're asking for this to be a C3, and one thing about this is always fun to learn new things. When I was contacted about this, I found out that there's no classifications for a casino in Terre Haute. But in talking with Marcus, who's been very helpful in this project, as well as with Jared and his staff, and with Eddie Felling, the city attorney, it was determined among all of us that C3 was the best fit. And as a result, I'm here tonight asking for this property to be rezoned to C3. The second thing I learned in this process is in Terre Haute, you can't have a building over 125 feet. As a result, we have asked for a variance from that to go from 125 to 150 foot. In the process, as I'm sure you're aware, we have to notify all the adjacent property owners. We have done that. In that process, you send them a statement regarding the adjacent project and ask them to sign it, say you have no objection, and get it back. Very rarely does that happen. In this situation, we received 5 or 6 of those back. We did receive one neighbor who had some issues and some questions and wasn't favorable to the variance. As stated, That was going to be heard this morning, so I was hoping to report to you that we had the variance that was requested. Unfortunately, that's going to be heard on March 17th at 9 a.m., I believe. So, as stated, the owners are here, the two different owners. Each parcel is about 25 acres. We're in the process of, if this is successful, to combine those, and then for the building of the casino. And what that will mean, it's their intentions to build a casino, and I provided two things for you this evening. An updated site plan. The site plan that was originally submitted, I don't know, I had to put my glasses on to see it, but the original one was about 200,000 square feet. The revised one's 190. The difference is they were able to find some space to be able to move some stuff around. As a result, it's going to be a little smaller than that was in your original packet. Also enclosed is a handout that has some information about the casino, as well as some renderings of what the casino will look like, as well as the interior of the casino. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm fortunate tonight I have the property owners with me this evening, as well as representatives from Churchill Downs and their team, as well as a representative from the GC who will be performing the work if this is successful in Wilhelm. But as stated, I'm here tonight asking for this to be rezoned to C3. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Shackley? Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak to this issue?
Good evening. Jeff Lind Law Firm. I'm here on behalf of Fontenette Land Company, LLC, an adjacent landowner that was mentioned in, well, really mentioned in passing, if you noticed. Fontenette Land Company owns real estate north of this site, and although it'll be on the other side of New Margaret, it is adjacent but for New Margaret. And I brought only one beacon printout, really, that pushed enough buttons where you could see the trees and the lakes. As Norm can attest, it's a zoned residential R1. It was bought for that purpose. Our sellers were this summer, Holman and Company, or what was left of it, whatever their new successor was, and Princeton Mining. This real estate, while beautiful for residential development, had remained idle, really consistent with the practice of the Holmans, while being good stewards of the land, owning a lot of land and developing very little. As you know, my client, Greg Gibson, owns Fontenette Land Company. He's been a big supporter of a casino in Terre Haute, put a lot of effort, and would love to see a casino come to Terre Haute, and generally does not, and ask me to, and nor am I rising to object to the rezoning of this site, but I want a lot of consideration to some conditions being placed on any rezoning, such as imposing conditions that would lessen the light and the noise and general commotion effects of a casino so close to a residential area. This could include rather strict vegetation buffer along the site's northern boundary to lessen the noise and the light from car headlights, and redirection of lighting facilities so as not to leave the property lines on the north side for their facility itself and parking within the complex. One of the things I noted, it's almost ironic, in their brochure, one of the rooms has a beautiful picture of one of my clients' historic buildings in Terre Haute behind the bed. He's been a big supporter of this community, and I'd ask that you do whatever you can to respect the future residential development of that property to the north. Lots of lakes, woodlands, just beautiful ground. Additionally, some attention should be paid to the source of any infrastructure funding. The petitioner chose a site without infrastructure. I mean, they chose a farm tract. They had abandoned a site with infrastructure. I don't know who all they talked to, but I know that there were some owners of sites that had all the infrastructure they need that were not contacted. In their petition before the Gaming Commission, when they sought the license itself, one of the big selling points was their financial strength and wherewithal. And I'd like all of our community leaders to consider the tax impact if they come ask our community to fund infrastructure because they chose to place the casino in a farm field, frankly. But again, I do want to point out, as far as the zoning itself, my client does not object to it being rezoned for the purpose of a casino, but would like some protections for the residential development to the north.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Shagley?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Lind. So, I think first off, Mr. Lind, I don't think truer words were ever said about Mr. Gibson. He has been nothing but great for us. I have somewhat jokingly said to him, there should still be a line of people waiting to thank you for tearing down the Terre Haute House. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have 2 hotels downtown, we wouldn't have a children's museum, we wouldn't have the downtown we have. And that is simply because of Mr. Gibson. And I would agree with Jeff 100% that Gibson's been great for our community. That being said, I believe Churchill Downs is going to be great for our community. As you saw by our updated site plan where I changed the number from 210 to 190, as you'll see, there's tremendous green space between the hotel and Fountainette Land Company. I've had a previous conversation with Mr. Lind regarding the light. You know, as a property owner, you have to be very careful on your lighting and how it's directed. You can't flood your neighbors with light. Churchill Downs is experienced in casinos. They have one of the best GCs you can get. They've done multiple casinos together. I have every confidence that the lighting issue will not be an issue. As far as noise, you know, I think this could block some of the noise from 70 from anybody north of New Market. I'm not a noise expert. It's simply my opinion. But between the green space, the planned landscaping features, you know, Churchill Downs is coming to Indiana. This is their first casino that they're going to be doing. They have every intention of wanting this to be the best it can be. They're calling it the Queen. I mean, this is going to be a first-class operation, and as you can see, they're working on every detail. Even though there's no landscaping plan requirements in that area, this will be fully landscaped because ultimately they want Terre Haute to be proud of this. They want the visitors to be proud of this, and they want to be proud of this. So I don't anticipate that being an issue. I also don't, you know, I hope it's a parking issue for them because that would be a great thing because they have a plenty of parking. But if they do have a parking issue, that just means there's more demand than anybody anticipated. But ultimately, and Mr. Lind is right, and I believe you all received the letter I received from Mr. Gibson. I believe you're all blind copied. I've heard that people received it. You know, Churchill Downs at no point has ever claimed poverty and that they need help on this project. They're capable of doing this. They have not asked for any assistance from the city or county on this. They understand, and really through the Gaming Commission, there's not going to be any tax payments. There's not going to be anything like that. The infrastructure that I believe Mr. Lynn's talking to is about a plan that's been in place for 10 or 15 years, and that's the extension of New Margaret Avenue for it to tie back into Old Margaret Avenue. I believe even Old Margaret Avenue dead ends, and they put a little cul-de-sac at the end is the plan. In speaking with some city officials, in a meeting, we were told, they haven't extended New Margaret Avenue because they're waiting for development. And this is the development. This is what everybody's been waiting for. This is a great site. It's 50 acres. The beauty is that you don't have to have a parking garage. Personal opinion, I don't think parking garages are very appealing. Plus they're made out of asphalt, or concrete. I'd rather have parking lots with asphalt. But that being said, Churchill Downs and the affiliates that they're bringing with them to do this is going to be a first-class place. As you can see by the renderings, they're not sparing any expense. This is going to be a great thing. Obviously it's going to be great for Churchill Downs, but it's going to be great for our community. As you can see on the page 2 of the handout, the packet I provided, 500 permanent jobs, 1,000 construction jobs. We met with the building trades today, and not only is it 1,000 construction jobs, but Wilhelm, I don't know if you're familiar with Wilhelm, but Wilhelm is a major contractor. They have many affiliates within Wilhelm that cover the different areas of heating, cooling, electrical, and whatnot. It is the intention of this project is to break it down to smaller packages that would then allow for our local contractors to bid on this. This is going to be a great thing, not only for our local workforce, but for our local contractors. That they're going to have an opportunity. It's going to be a fair and transparent process, which is going to lead to a lot of our local workers getting to work at home for a while. A lot of times people have to travel for their work. This will be a great project. If all goes well, break ground this summer, finish in December of 23. We can all go to the sports book and watch the Super Bowl in 24. And then you throw in, the projected annual economic impact of $190 million, over $150 million in state gaming taxes, 18 million local gaming taxes, and then another 19 million through the LDA, which is just money going back into our community. And it will go back into our community based upon a group that will be formed to help steer that money in ways to add economic development, which will benefit all of us. This is a great project for Terre Haute, a great location, and as a result, I would ask for a favorable recommendation to the City Council for this to be zoned C3. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, let me first ask staff, how do we address the concerns, property north, and blend that with making sure that things work out okay? Because I'm sure that's the question everyone on this commission has.
Okay, so we do take into factor the site plan as it's submitted, as well as its impact on surrounding uses. As the site plan is laid out, there is adequate buffering present. It exceeds the minimum requirement by a lot. So by code, they are being generous with their buffering. There is no landscape plan present. I'm sure if one is required, city engineering, upon their further review of the site plan, will ask for one. Similarly, once civil sets come through, I'm sure their lighting plan and their lighting design will have more information as well on lighting as it may fall upon neighboring properties. To address the infrastructure issues, we have the subdivision submitted in our office now. It has yet to be reviewed. We will consider water, sewer, any existing road expansions, impacts on any neighboring properties from increased traffic as a part of the subdivision process.
And so someone has oversight on lighting and buffering, and who would that be, just for information purposes?
The final say on the site plan, as this resides within the City of Terre Haute, will come from City of Terre Haute Engineering Department.
Okay.
If I could,
Go ahead,
Mr.
Ryan.
Baker. The Churchill Downs, in this process, has been working with the city in the development of this plan. We wanted to make sure at day one that they were happy with what was coming down the pipeline. We don't want to go through all this and then the city say, did you think about this? So to avoid that conversation, we've been working with them. They've been absolutely more than kind and helpful in this process with their suggestions, with their comments, and their feedback. As Jared said, and as we've mentioned before, you approve this rezoning, they don't break ground tomorrow and build whatever they want. They have many other factions that they have to please before they can get their permits and build. So is there protections? Absolutely. But as Jared also stated, they've been more than, they're not pushing the envelope on their buffering. They're aware of their neighbors. And on a side note, going back to the BZA, we received, like I said, 6 or 7 of those statements back, which is unheard of in a BZA. And what is interesting is all of those were people that have lived there for, I didn't check, but a long time. The only opposition we have is to the newest owner in the area. And the reality is, the plan is for Margaret Avenue, New Margaret Avenue, to go from 46th to 3rd Street and ultimately be a commercial all the way through. That was the plan with the city. That's why it was designed that way. That's why Old Margaret Avenue has been widened. That's why New Margaret Avenue is wider, is because this is going to be a thoroughfare for commercial between 46th and 3rd Street. That's why we have overpass over on 19th, and that's why all this infrastructure is already there and already built. And that's what makes this a great project. Is this 50 acres? Although it's a farmland now, you've got the improvements on Old Margaret Avenue, we'll call it that. You've got American Water running additional water down Margaret. That should go this year. You have all the utilities out there. It's a perfect spot. In this process, there was a lot of, go out east. There was a lot of people that didn't like the location behind the mall. And since the announcement, there's been a lot. That's where it should go. I don't think there's, except for maybe the people that own the property around where they're going to go, I think there's a pretty good consensus that this casino should be out on 46, and these 50 acres is the best spot for this casino. And as a result, I'm here tonight on behalf of the owners, ultimately on behalf of Churchill Downs, asking you to give this a favorable recommendation for a C3 to the City Council. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Mr. Baker, I apologize for interrupting you for my short little.
I almost forgot.
All
I
right.
have 2, one's for you and one's for Mr. Lynn. Yours would be, is this property in the TIF district, east side of town?
Yeah, it's all in the
It all is in the
Yeah.
TIF district. And Mr. Lynn, my question for you would be, they're doing a residential, how soon? Is it going to be single family? Is it going to be a multifamily apartment complex? What is the plan for that? That would kind of depend on. did, and I want to thank you for that publicly. So,
I did not keep track, but,
no, thank you, I appreciate that. I know being a land developer, we've done some things with berms, and they build, casino builds, don't like, just put a berm on the other side of Margaret Avenue, keep some noise down, or if it's multifamily, there's to be less consideration.
My point is that you should build a berm, how that's supposed to real estate. They chose to build
the,
next to the
the flip side of that is you bought land next to an area where you could have a casino going. You bought this something, and you knew the casino was going out in 46, an eighth of a mile from that land, if not shorter. But we can argue distances later.
and my client was.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Lynn, are you comfortable at this point?
Talks about quite a bit of green space, but no vegetation, but it'd be my hope that, accommodation for crop control, that with all that green space,
Yeah.
vegetation buffer, install part of plan. All
I have not talked to my client, but in my discussions on other issues, I don't anticipate that being an issue of some reasonable accommodation there to protect the neighbors. And one of the fortunate things is, if you look at this layout, this is going towards 7. Mr. Gibson's property is on the back side of it. The parking lot you see behind the casino is the employee parking. So it's not a situation, whereas the front of the parking, and in this back, you see a traffic information. As a courtesy, I did not go into the traffic issues. But, with the casino, this isn't like a factory where people come in at 8 and they leave at 5. This is scattered throughout. However, the employee parking, which is the closest to Mr. Gibson's property, would be more controlled in people coming and going. And as a result, I think that'd be a less of a constant problem to them. But at the same time, there's plenty of dirt there. Churchill Downs is investing a lot of money in our community, a lot of money, could be $250 million in our community. You don't invest that kind of money and come in and be a bad neighbor. And I don't anticipate there being a problem with some type of buffer that would be reasonable to both parties.
Well, I wasn't trying to belabor this, I just wanted to make sure all parties were heard.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I asked so that everyone would know that it's the city of Terre Haute that ultimately will have to approve those buffers, and staff has already indicated there's ample room for a buffer. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else, or is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this petition?
I have a quick question. And I just want to clarify, there's no outdoor venue planned at the site, right? Like a music venue or anything outdoors, everything is internal?
The only outdoor would be the top of the rooftop
Yeah.
pool. And I apologize, in our recent discussions, we came up with this idea a little late, is to throw a drone up there 150 feet and take some pictures and see what that view's gonna be. I'm kind of looking forward to see what that's gonna be like.
Yeah.
I see a lot of great events on that top floor.
Sure.
So,
Okay, is there any other questions from the planning? Yes, sir. Sorry, ma'am.
Is the LDA complete or in progress?
it's in progress. I don't think anything's signed. Nothing's been signed this time. Nothing's been signed at this time.
Okay. Who's the GC?
Wilhelm.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the planning commission? If not, we have a motion?
Motion for a favorable recommendation. Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Now, I'm gonna read it tomorrow.
Okay, the next item is docket number 20, Special Ordinance 5, 2022, 1728 North 8th Street, Terre Haute, Indiana, from an R2 to an R3 General Residence District.
The property owner is Terre Haute Land Company LLC. Proposed use is multifamily housing. Proposed zoning is R3 General Residence District. Current zoning is R2 Two-Family Residence District, represented by Mr. Shagley, located at 1728 North 8th Street in Terre Haute. It is R2 to the northeast, south, and west. The petitioner is requesting to rezone the property to R3 General Residence District for multifamily housing. The lot is currently vacant. A site plan has been provided for a proposed building with 5 one-bedroom units, each approximately 800 square feet. The property is located on the edge of the Thrive 2025 identified medical hospital area. Many of the surrounding lots are vacant and owned by Union Hospital. Staff has reached out to Union Hospital to see if there are any immediate plans in the area. And we did learn via a representative from Union Hospital that there was a possible land swap deal, which may go on with the current owner. If this would go to multifamily housing, parking must be hard surfaced, and the parking lot must be illuminated. There is sufficient parking with 9 parking spaces in the site plan. 8 parking spaces are required per city code. We didn't know if the representative wanted to table this request at this time, or if you wanted to continue.
I would ask that we continue this evening, although I don't anticipate us going in front of the city council tomorrow night, but since I'm here, I would appreciate if we could just move forward on this.
So staff offers a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: site plan with parking approved by city engineering, and a stormwater drainage plan approved by city engineering.
Okay, so we're going to do a subject to. Okay, Mr. Shagley.
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm Wright, Shagley & Lowry. And tonight I'm here on behalf of the owner, Terre Haute Land Company, LLC. As stated, they're asking the property located 1728 North 8th Street to be rezoned from R2 to R3. It is their intention, as you can see by the site plan, to build a new building that has 5 one-bedroom units. As a result of that, it's 1.5 per unit, so they have 9 spots, which is ample parking. Their target here is, as you know, this is right by Union Hospital. There is a need for housing for traveling nurses and such, and they're kind of going after it to target that. Currently, in their discussions with other traveling nurses, some of them come and stay at hotels not knowing, and some of the nearest hotels to Union Hospital is not where you want to stay for 6 months. So as a result, they're trying to target that, and to do that, they want to build this. As stated, this is surrounded by Union Hospital. Although the owners hadn't really received any communication since they've owned this, they've owned it for a long time. When the rezoning came through, now they have some interest in maybe doing a swap. And right now, we are currently discussing what I called or described as a more reasonable swap. And I think that's what will lead to the tabling tomorrow night. But if I could ask for and receive a favorable recommendation from this property going from R2 to R3, it would be much appreciated by the petitioner, Terre Haute Land Company, LLC. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Shagley? Is there anyone speaking in opposition of this? Any further comments from staff? Okay, any motion? So moved for approval. Second. In favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is docket number 12, file 6, 2022, Rohrbach and Stafford, one-lot subdivision.
This subdivision has a rezoning to accompany it. Would you like them heard concurrently?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. First, the subdivision, which is Rohrbach and Stafford, one lot, also known as a replat of Lot 57 in Kenwood Second Subdivision. The property has frontage along South Kenwood Place and Woodland Circle, commonly associated with 699 Woodland Circle. The existing lot will be expanded by 1.9 acres. The surveyor is Mr. Tibbet. The applicant is requesting to replat Lot 57 in Kenwood Second Subdivision and add 1.9 acres to the existing lot, expanding it to the south and southeast. There is a variance requested for scale with this plat. Health Department has approved Public sewer is available. Public water is available. It's not in a flood zone. The lot will meet the minimum lot size requirement. The plat indicates access from Woodland Circle, which is local level road. South Kinwood Place beyond the southwest corner of Lot 57 of Kinwood's second subdivision becomes a private drive. Any access from the private drive portion of Kinwood would be the fifth lot with access from the private drive portion of South Kinwood. This exceeds the upper limit for the access from a private drive. South Kinwood, to the point of access to the new lot, would then need to be upgraded to county road standards. To avoid this, the developers decided to replat their existing lot, creating one larger lot. Staff would request a waiver of major subdivision requirements, as no additional burden will be replaced on existing infrastructure. Minor subdivision requirements will still be utilized. The surveyor has requested a variance of scale for the plat. Staff has no issues with this request. Approval of the plat is contingent upon it being recorded in 90 days. So we offer favorable on the primary and secondary plat request, along with the request for a waiver from major subdivision development standards, also a favorable recommendation on the variance request, with the only condition being approval of the rezoning. The rezoning. The property owners, Gene and Barbara Rohrbach, the current zoning is A1. The proposed zoning RS Single Family Residential. The proposed use is a side yard expansion for construction of a pool and a non-attached garage. Surrounding uses, to the north is RS, southwest and east are A1 agricultural. The area is rural and farm ground, with the development priority being rural residential uses. The petitioner seeks to rezone the newly created lot from RS to A1. The proposed lot will then be used as an extended backyard for a pool and detached garage. The combined lot does meet the minimum lot size requirement. All uses will be within the setback guidelines. So staff offers a favorable recommendation for this rezoning request, with the only condition being approval of the major subdivision.
Yes, sir. Would you like to speak to this issue?
Thank you, President and members of the board. I'm James Tibbet. I'm owner of Tibbet Surveying. I done the surveying plat for this. I have Jody and Kelly with me. They're the owners of Lot 57. I also have Gene and Barbara, who are the owners of the adjacent property. Gene and Barbara are mom and dad, and the daughter and son-in-law would like to build an in-ground pool. They tried to do this a year ago. They got stopped by zoning, by setback requirements, not enough room for the overall structure of the in-ground pool. We're just trying to build a pool. That's all it comes down to. We want a garage and a pool, in-ground pool when we get done. I ask for a favorable recommendation.
Any questions from planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is docket number 13, file 7, 2022, Davison Estates subdivision.
The property is the site of a former mobile home park having access from West National Drive and being approximately 1/2 mile west of Darlin Road. 14.42 acres, surveyors Mr. Spires. The request is to replat a portion of Lot 2A Weaver Crossing Sub, which was a replat of lots 1 and 2 of Deer Run Sub, into 10 lots for residential development. A rezoning was previously accompanied this request. Health Department has approved. Sanitary sewer is not available. Public water is available. It's not in a flood zone. The lots exceed the minimum lot size requirement. There are no new public streets proposed with this. A stormwater drainage plan will be required with the major subdivision. The subdivision is subject to a high voltage transmission easement. Duke Energy has reviewed and approved uses in and around their easement. Those same areas have been deemed non-buildable by the developer. A private street serves the whole of the subdivision. Lots 1 and 4 are from a private drive off the private street. Lots 5 through 8 are served from a separate private drive off the private street. Lots 2, 3, 9, and 10 access the private street directly. The private street has been extended to the west to include direct access for Lot 8. This will maintain compliance with Section 610311 B2. The Area Plan Commission, at its discretion, may waive the requirement that the applicant complete and dedicate roads, or waive the requirement for bonding and paving on rural residential subdivisions consisting of 12 lots or less. Said private roads shall be constructed to meet the geometric standards as set forth in the ordinance, except paving requirements. The petitioner has requested this waiver. Petitioner must demonstrate to the reasonable satisfaction of the Plan Commission that the private roads will be properly maintained. A road maintenance agreement has been submitted to our office and has been attached to the rezoning, and I believe it was also recorded in the recorder's office. Fire truck turnaround is in place of a cul-de-sac, which is proposed and is permitted. The local fire jurisdiction has approved of the design, but is still awaiting proposal of hydrant locations. The fire department has received the proposed locations. We are awaiting their response for their approval. So we offer favorable on the secondary request and the requested waiver with the condition of the drainage and erosion control plan approval, bonding for infrastructure if not waived, and of course the fire department approval for the fire hydrant placement.
Okay, is the petitioner present? Is there any questions you have, or any? Okay. I'm sorry.
My name is Troy Davidson. I'm the petitioner, and I don't have anything to say unless you have questions for me.
Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Okay, anyone speaking in opposition? Have a motion, please? Motion. Second. All in favor, aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you. Next item is docket number 17, file 9, 2022 Morris subdivision.
The location is on West McCombs Drive, stretching west of the intersection of West McCombs Drive and South Morris Place. 0.96 acres. The existing drive utilizes West Macomb and is addressed accordingly. The surveyor is Mr. Little. The request is to create one new lot of 0.96 acres to remove the existing home from the vacant acreage to the north and west. We did receive health department approval, as sanitary sewer is not available. Public water is available. It is not in a flood zone, and the lots exceed the minimum lot size requirement. Stormwater drainage is typically required with a major subdivision. This subdivision represents lot number 7, having been created over time from the original parent tract. Being 5 or more lots, this is considered a major subdivision and is subject to all development standards as required by the subdivision control ordinance. However, new construction is proposed on the existing lot being created. The original homestead is to remain. Therefore, staff would request a waiver for the major subdivision requirements. If approved, minor subdivision development standards will still be applicable. The existing home is 5 feet inside of the permitted setbacks for a road frontage. The setbacks being 25 feet minimum distance between the primary structure and the property line. To remedy this, the petitioner has requested a variance of 5 feet from section 610310H1, building line setbacks for the from the subdivision control ordinance for Vigo County. We offer a favorable on the variance along with the primary and secondary request, with the only condition remaining that it be recorded within 90 days.
Okay, petitioner present. Anything you'd like to add or any questions?
I know that I have to come in front of the planning committee, but why am I called a subdivision?
That's a great question. We should get it all the time because it's kind of a misnomer, but we call platting one lot a subdivision for some reason, and I've never been able to tell you why, but it is, so you've got your own little subdivision.
That's fine. That's my grandfather's name. It's fine.
Usually that's the panic everybody has when it's called a subdivision. Everybody thinks there's 100 houses and roads and bridges and everything else, and they just want to build a house on a lot or something. It is bizarre, but don't be worried about it.
I didn't want you to have to, I had to put a big electrical generator in.
You can if you want to.
No.
Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Let me see if there's anyone speaking. There's no one speaking in opposition. We have a motion to approve. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Last item, docket number 18, UCO 4-2022, 6,000 South State Road 63 from Terre Haute, Indiana, from an RT to an RS, single-family residential suburban district.
The property owner is Vicki L. Harlan. The preparer was Susan Lewis Cook. The proposed use is single-family dwelling. It is currently zoned RT Mobile Home Park Residential District. The proposed zoning RS Single Family Residential Suburban District. The address is commonly associated with 6,000 South State Road 63, Terre Haute. Surrounding uses to the north, A1 South, R2 medium density, as well east, R2 medium density. To the west is RS. So the development priority for this location is rural residential uses. The petitioner seeks to rezone the property that used to be a mobile home park for a single-family residence. R2M exists immediately to the south. A step down in intensity as a transition to A1 is good planning practice. Staff offers a favorable recommendation for this rezoning request.
Okay, petitioner present. Anybody represent the petitioner? Are you representing the petitioner?
What's not
No,
part
he
of
was a
this?
different petitioner.
What's your pleasure?
Was the other gentleman, he's not involved in it either?
Well, we know Marcus, yeah. Okay, so there isn't anybody. We move the table, don't we?
Yep.
Well, I don't know why you would.
Because we always have. But I don't care.
I mean, let's move somebody's business on. I mean, it's appropriate, unless anybody got any objection.
They ought to at least show up, but I don't care. We'll just hear it again and approve it.
My sister built a house, don't they? Table doesn't want that.
I mean, if you got an objection to it, I understand that, but
I'd move for a favorable recommendation.
I'll second that.
is anybody speaking in opposition to it? No? Okay. We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, I'm sure these people will appreciate that. Is there anything else that I've missed?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes, thank you.
Oh, hurry back.
The only objection was that
One with a bunch of paperwork. Well, the only issue is you don't have the opportunity to talk.
probably got about
There are trees that don't feel now. You know what I mean?